Hi, Alvin here, natural health practitioner, chiropractor, and speaker. And thanks for joining me in this 3-minute health tip. Now, in this episode, I know that a lot of people are still having challenges in believing that there's an emotional component to their physical symptoms, that there's a biological conflict, an unexpected stress that triggered their digestive issues, their colitis or their Crohn's diagnosis. One of the things that people often tell me is that it's hard to imagine that, this stomach cramping and this pain is not because of the gluten or the dairy or the sugars that I'm eating in my diet. And what I often will ask them is, well, how long did you eat those foods? And many times people say, I've been eating it my whole life. And then I'll ask them, well, when did your digestive issues start? When I was 25, when I was 18. And ever since, that's when I found out I was allergic to these items and these foods. And the thing that I often tell them is, well, did you ever look at what was going on in your life emotionally at that time that you first began to get those symptoms? And to be perfectly honest, most of us have not. And it's just because we haven't been trained to look there. It reminds me a lot of my son when he was younger. Out of nowhere, he'll come to me, Dad, I can't find my little wrestling figurine. Can you help me find it? And often I'll say, well, did you look hard? Did you try to look everywhere? And of course, he's going to say he looked everywhere. But where did he look? He looked in the living room. Maybe he looked in the kitchen. Maybe he looked in his bedroom. To him, that's everywhere. And I'll say, well, what about the basement where all your toys are down there? You've got boxes of toys. Maybe it's somewhere in the basement. And he'll often ask, well, it's kind of hard to look there. Can you come and help me? There's too many things to go through. Eventually, when we go down there and we're patient enough and we go through all of these different toys and boxes, we often find what we're looking for. And that little figurine is there. And I really believe it's the same when it comes down to our symptoms, that we've been trained for so many years to look for the causes externally. That this sinus thing must be something in the air, that my digestive issues must be something in the food or something that I'm eating. And yet we never really look inside. We never go into the basement of our subconscious, our psyche, because it's messy, it's dark, it's dingy. And we don't want to admit that we've sort of let a few things go, that we've held on to some stuff that we've held on to for so long. But the answers lie in taking the time to go through the basement of your psyche, of your subconscious, to really evaluate why you're feeling the way you're feeling. That perhaps, when you came home from that dinner with your friends and you wake up in the middle of the night with diarrhea and stomach pain and cramping, that it wasn't the dairy or the creamy sauce that you've had all the time. That perhaps it was a comment. It was the way the waiter treated you. It was an insinuation that made you feel like somebody was criticizing you, that was upsetting and hard to digest. And so I hope that you do take the time to really look internally and to ask yourself, what's going on in terms of my life when these symptoms show up? And what is it that I'm really feeling about these circumstances and situations? Today, I want you to take the time to clean out your basement, reorganize it, and just really explore, particularly when you get symptoms that you can't have any answers for. I hope that this video was valuable and that you're going to be able to implement it in helping you to continue to live out this new health perspective and gain relief from your symptoms. Thanks again, and we'll see you soon.